Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Dr. Muhibbullah Wazir, and the topic today is the movements of the knee joint. I told that the knee joint is a modified hinge variety. That's why the movements permissible at the knee joint are, look, this is flexion, that is bending, and this is extension or straightening, and less degree of rotation. Because of this rotation quality, it is called as modified hinge. Secondly, you know that the flexion in all these joints, it takes in the anterior direction, but in the knee joint, the flexion takes in the posterior direction. Now the flexion of the knee is the posterior bending of the knee, that is these posterior muscles of the calf and the thigh when comes into contact with one another, that is bending movement, that is the flexion of the knee joint. And you know that the muscles being responsible for flexion of the knee, all the muscles on the posterior side, and you can see that is biceps femoris, semimembranosus and semitendinosus, these two muscles, and then the two heads of gastrocnemius, and then lying deep to the gastrocnemius over here is the plantaris and popliteus. So these posterior muscles, that is these hamstrings and the two heads of gastrocnemius and this small plantaris and the deeper one popliteus. And in addition, you know already, look, this sartorius muscle and the gracilis, it also passes posterior to the knee joint, and then it comes by passing posterior to the knee like this and comes anteriorly to be attached to the upper part of medial surface of the tibia. So this sartorius and gracilis also take part in the flexion of the knee. I hope this is easy, that any muscle passing posterior to the knee, it would be the flexor of the knee. Then the extension of the knee, it is the straightening movement, as when you are standing, for example, the knee joint is being straightened out. This is the extended position of the knee. And this extension of the knee, it is an important part in step taking while you are walking, that when you are walking, the extension of the knee is an important step in walking. And note, this must be produced by all these anterior muscles. And you know, the anterior muscles of the knee over here is the quadriceps, that is vastus medialis, latalis, intermedius and rectus femoris. This is the quadriceps with a big tendon. Look, this is the quadriceps tendon, and it's the ligamentum patella. So when it contracts, look, this is the flexed position of the knee. When this contracts, it make it straighten like this. So the extension of the knee joint is being done by the strong quadriceps muscle which lies anterior to the knee, and it is being helped by this lateral muscle, tensor fasciae lati muscle, through the iliotibial tract. Tensor fasciae lati muscle through the iliotibial tract also produce an extensing effect on the knee joint. You note, when you are extending from flexion to knee, you would note these quadriceps muscles, this becomes very tense. These muscles becomes tense or contracted, and when you stand, after standing, you feel the quadriceps muscle. This quadriceps muscle would be relaxed, but you feel this tensor fasciae lati muscle and iliotibial tract would remain contracted it means that now the extension is being kept by this iliotibial tract and the tensor fascial latissimus muscle. Note, now when we were discussing the articulating surfaces, we said, look, this medial condyle is longer than the lateral condyle. The medial condyle is more curved than the lateral condyle. Okay? And it is oval and longer than the lateral condyle. So look, this is the flexed position. And when extension starts, because the lateral condyle is small, so it immediately is being accommodated in the lateral condyle of the tibia, but 30% of the medial condyle, it still remains out of the medial condyle. Make it close. This medial condyle is still out of the medial condyle of the tibia, where the lateral condyle is fully accommodated and the extension is not fully maintained. 30 degree of extension still remains. Now what happens with the more force applied by the extensor muscles, that is the quadratus muscles, the femur is being rotated medially. Look, the femur is being rotated medially so that the medial condyle fully accommodates in the medial condyle of the tibia. And now in this condition, both the condyles of the femur and tibia, both the condyles of the femur are being accommodated fully in both the condyles of the tibia. But before the rotation, somewhat 30% of the medial condyle was out of the medial condyle of the tibia and the extension was not completed. And then when more force is being applied by the quadratus muscle, then this middle rotation of the femur occurs on the tibia, and now the full of the medial condyle is being accommodated into the medial condyle of the tibia, and now the knee joint is now fully extended, or rather 5 to 10 degree overextended. Now this condition of the knee joint, in which the knee joint is fully extended, or rather 5 to 10 degree overextended, this condition is being called as locked knee joint. Locked knee joint, or locking of the knee. And the mechanism, look, the extension is being done by the quadriceps, but later on, at the last stage of the extension, then the medial rotation of the femur occurs on the tibia, and this medial rotation of the femur on the tibia, this is actually the locking mechanism, and when it is completed, this now the knee joint is in hyperextended position or fully extended position. This is being called as locked knee joint. Okay, to attain the locking, you know, the femur moves medially on the tibia, but if the foot is off the ground, then the tibia, to attain the full extension, and then the tibia moves lateral upon the femur. When the foot is on the ground and weight bearing, then the femur moves medially. But when foot is off the ground and then to attain locked position, then the tibia moves laterally. Okay? Anyhow, this when both the condyles are fully accommodated and the knee joint is in slightly 5 to 10 degree hyperextended position, this is called a locked knee joint, and the mechanism, which is ultimately completed by rotation of the femur on the tibia or the lateral rotation of the tibia on the femur, this mechanism is called as locking of knee. Okay, now when you want to flex the knee, you know, both the condyles are fully accommodated in the condyle of the tibia. When you want to flex the knee, first this medial condyle you take out of the medial condyle of the tibia by lateral rotation of the femur when the foot is on the ground, or when the foot is off the ground, then the medial rotation of the medial rotation of the tibia and the femur, so that this upper part of the medial condyle, it comes out of the condyle of the tibia. Then you do the flexion with the help of the muscles which already you know. But note the point that from locked knee or from hyperextended knee to rotate the femur laterally upon the tibia, or to rotate the tibia medially upon the femur, this is being done by popliteus muscle. Note the point. And this first rotation of the femur on the tibia or the tibia on the femur is the start of the flexion from the locked knee joint, and this is being called as unlocking, which is done by popliteus. So to flex the knee from hyperextended position, first the femur should be rotated laterally, and this is being done by popliteus. For locking, the femur was rotated medially, which was done by the quadriceps muscle. For unlocking, the femur is rotated medially, that is done by popliteus muscle. Popliteus is indispensable in this movement, and then the other flexor come into play to complete the flexion. Then when the knee joint is in flexed position, in this flexed position, you know, you can see that only the lower part of the menisci, when the knee joint is in flexed position, look, this is extended position. Both the condyles come into full contact. When in flat position, you can see only in the lower part, the femoral condyle comes into contact with the tibial condyle. Otherwise, the other parts of the condyle are away from one another. Now, in this flexed position, some degree of rotation is being possible at the knee joint, and this rotation is being done, over here. Lateral rotation is being done by the biceps, and medial rotation is being done by the semimembranous and semitendinosus. And rotation of the femur on the tibia, lateral rotation of the femur on the tibia, and medial rotation of the tibia and the femur is also being done by popliteus muscle. So this small degree of rotation, which is being performed, which is being able at the knee joint when the knee joint is in flexed position, and this on the lateral side is being done by the biceps, and on the medial side is being done by the semimembranous and semitendinosus. And for unlocking, the lateral rotation of the femur on the tibia is being done by the popliteus muscle. Okay, okay, now one rotation which is being done while the knee joint was in the process of locking, and that was being done by this quadriceps muscle. This rotation of the femur on the tibia, that is being also called as the conjunct rotation. That is, it is the passive rotation along with the help of these muscles. Okay, but when the patient is lying on the table and the knee joint is flexed, patient is lying on the table or on the bed, and the knee is flexed, and the clinician want to examine, then he can rotate the knee more up to 60 degrees even, but this is not active rotation. This is being done by the clinician or doctor for examination. Okay, these are the movements being permissible at the knee joint. Then you know, look, the knee joint is the weight bearing joint. It carries the weight in standing and in walking and in jumping from high onto the ground. The knee joint is the weight carrying joint. That's why it must be stabilized. Of course, the bone stability, of course, plays some role, but not very important. This intercondylar aminus helps to prevent displacement of the two condyles to one and another side, but mostly look, these muscles, for example, the quadriceps tendon, ligamentum patella, the medialis, lateralis, and then from the posterior side, then the gracilis and sartorius, and then the hamstring muscle. These muscles from all around, and the ligaments of the knee joint, strong ligaments, the medial and the lateral condyle ligaments, these helps in stability. But note the point that the anterior and posterior cruciate ligaments, they are very important for the stability of the knee joint. Okay, all right, and I think this is sufficient for today. Okay, thank you very much.